Hi, I'm going to chat with you now about our nature journaling guide on winter ecosystems. This month, you're going to explore the fascinating world of ecosystems that exist in and around dead and dormant plants. And I really mean that. They're so interesting to observe. So I hope you get out there in the weather and do it. But before you head out into the field, you're going to need to gather your nature journaling materials. You'll need a nature journal, a pencil with an eraser, a smudge-proof pen, binoculars, and or a magnifying lens. You might also want to bring along colored pencils or watercolors just to add a splash of creativity to your journal. It all depends on how much time you have in the field, how cold it is, and how much you want to do in your nature journal. If you have a field guide for identifying plants and local animals, that could come in handy too. And don't forget your smartphone for taking photos to reference later. So step one this month is to find a dead and dormant plant ecosystem. You'll find a quiet spot in a nature preserve, a community park, or even in your own backyard. You can do this easily as a part of this month's field trip. You'll look for plants that have lost their leaves or appear to be dormant for the winter. One great place to explore is a native meadow or bird sanctuary where you can often find plants with abundant seeds that attract lots of birds, insects, and other wildlife. Remember that birds especially tend to be more active in the morning when they wake and are warmed by the sun. They'll just begin foraging for food. So if you're going out to observe birds, it's best to do it before 11 a.m. and even earlier if you can. Now, I know early rising is hard for a lot of homeschoolers, so I can totally relate. You do what you can. Step two is to choose something that's called a sit spot and start observing. So once you've found a promising location, you're going to find a comfortable spot to sit and observe for a while. This is called your sit spot. So while you're in your sit spot, you're going to use your binoculars to observe more closely without getting too close and scaring away wildlife. Again, this is particularly helpful to use binoculars if you're trying to observe birds or other small mammals. So take your time and observe as much or as little as feels right for your family from that sit spot. Now, step three is when we actually take out our nature journaling supplies and get started noting wildlife interactions and ecosystem interactions. So as you're looking at the plant and all of its surroundings, you'll sketch and take note of any interactions between wildlife and those dead and dormant plants. So for example, if you see a bird perched on a branch, you can record what type of bird it is and what it's doing. To do this, you can use words, sketches, or numbers to observe. Maybe you'll sketch the landscape, plants, and animals you see. Maybe you're going to start like a tally of the number of animals that visit those dead and dormant plants while you're observing, or perhaps you're just going to write about what you notice and what you wonder about the experience. Nature journaling, no matter how you decide to approach it, is going to help you understand how different species rely on each other in the ecosystem because it gives you your observations a specific focus. Don't forget to add the date, weather, temperature, and location to the top of your page so that you'll be able to look back at a later date and remember when you made that entry. And before you get up, take a photo or two of the area you were observing. It's good to have a photo to look at if you want to add detail to your nature journal later at home. After you're done with your sit spot observation, take a few minutes to look for tracks, nests, or any other evidence of animals using the plants for shelter or food. You might find that you discover more plant and animal interactions when you get closer to those dead and dormant plants. And if you're inspired, you can add more detail to your journal entry. Before I sign off on this video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for successful observations. Use a magnifying glass to get a closer look at the smaller organisms hiding on your plants. Binoculars also come in handy when you want to see things up close while maintaining a safe distance from the wildlife. Don't forget to check the undersides of leaves and the soil and leaf litter around the plants because many insects and other organisms like to hide down there. Now here's a handy tip. Take photos during your observation. It takes a little stress out of the experience and it allows you to revisit your findings at home. Plus, the photos can serve as a springboard for further inquiry or research, especially for your older learners. Remember, always be gentle and respectful when examining plants and their inhabitants. Avoid causing any harm to the organisms you're observing, and definitely leave the ecosystem the way you found it. Happy nature journaling, and thanks so much for watching.